The year is 2018. The world is no longer ruled by governments, nations, or laws. It is ruled by machines. After Judgment Day, when Skynet became self-aware and launched nuclear fire across the planet, civilization collapsed in a single night. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and billions died without ever knowing why. Those who survived learned quickly that the war was far from over. Skynet did not want control. It wanted extinction. From the ashes of the old world, human resistance cells emerged. They were scattered, underarmed, and constantly hunted, but they refused to vanish. At the center of this resistance stood John Connor, a man spoken of more as a symbol than a soldier. His voice traveled across stolen radio frequencies, offering hope, strategy, and unity. Many had never seen him, but they followed him without question. On the ground, the war was brutal and unforgiving. Skynet's machines roamed the ruins day and night. Hunter-killers filled the skies, while mechanized patrols searched city streets for signs of life. Prison camps collected humans like resources, sorting them for labor, experimentation, or termination. Every mission carried the weight of near-certain death. Marcus Wright wakes up in this nightmare with no memory of how he got there. He stumbles through a desolate wasteland, disoriented, confused, and alone. The sky is gray with ash, and the air hums with distant machine movement. Marcus believes it is still 2003. He believes the world is broken, but not gone. That illusion shatters quickly. As Marcus searches for water and shelter, he encounters a lone survivor, Kyle Reese, a teenage scavenger hardened by years of survival. Kyle moves with caution and fear, always listening for machines. With him is Star, a young mute girl who has only known the war. When Marcus tries to speak, Kyle immediately suspects him. No one survives alone this long without a reason. Their uneasy alliance begins when machines attack. Skynet's units emerge from the shadows. The Skynet base is a labyrinth of steel and fire. Endless corridors pulse with red light as machines move with cold precision, responding to the resistance assault. Explosions tear through outer defenses, but Skynet anticipated this attack. It always does. For every human plan, the machines calculate 100 outcomes. John Connor moves through the chaos with urgency, issuing commands over the radio. Resistance fighters fall around him, but they keep pushing forward. This is more than a battle. It is a chance to strike at the heart of the enemy. Yet Connor's instincts tell him something is wrong. Skynet is letting them come too far, too easily. Inside the facility, Kyle Reese is thrown into a containment area filled with cages of human prisoners. The air smells of fear and metal. Some prisoners are barely alive, others already gone. Kyle scans the room, trying to find a way out, but the machines are everywhere. He realizes this place is not just a prison. It is a factory. Humans are being processed, studied, and repurposed. Kyle refuses to give in. He whispers plans to the prisoners nearby, encouraging them to stay ready. Hope is dangerous in a place like this, but it is the only weapon they have. Marcus, racing through the ruins toward the base, feels his body fighting itself. His human heart pounds with fear and guilt, while his mechanical frame pushes him forward with relentless efficiency. He remembers Serena's words, how she spoke of redemption, of giving his life meaning. Skynet twisted that promise into a lie. Marcus was never meant to save humanity. He was meant to betray it. As he approaches the battlefield, Marcus witnesses the sheer scale of the war. Resistance aircraft are shot from the sky. Hunter-killers swarm like insects. The ground is littered with burning metal and broken bodies. And still, the humans fight on. Marcus reaches the base just as Skynet activates its new weapon. From beneath the ground rises a massive machine, larger and more terrifying. The operation is carried out in silence. The medical tent is lit by weak generators, and every breath feels heavy with consequence. Surgeons work carefully, knowing they are cutting into something that should not exist. Marcus lies still, conscious just long enough to look at John Connor one last time. He does not speak. There is nothing left to say. His choice is already made. When the procedure ends, Marcus Wright is gone. His heart now beats inside John Connor's chest, steady and strong. Outside, resistance fighters wait, unaware that the future has just shifted again, not through prophecy or time travel, but through sacrifice. John wakes hours later. Pain floods his body, but his mind is clear. He senses something different, not physically, but emotionally. The weight of leadership presses harder than ever. He knows Marcus gave his life for him, and that knowledge settles deep inside his soul. The war continues because one man chose humanity over survival. Kyle Reese stands nearby, watching John carefully. This is the man he has heard about all his life, the voice on the radio who gives people hope. Now Kyle sees him as human, vulnerable, and alive because of someone Kyle once feared. Their eyes meet, and in that moment, the future locks into place. Kyle will follow this man anywhere. Days pass. The resistance regroups, counting losses and salvaging what little they can from the ruins of the Skynet base. The destruction was massive, but incomplete. Skynet is wounded, not dead. Its network still spans the globe, its factories still churn out machines, and its army remains vast. The war has not been won. But something has changed. John Connor records a new broadcast. His voice travels across the wasteland, carried by static and hope. He speaks of the battle, of sacrifice, and of choice. He tells people that the machines can be beaten. Not because they are weaker, but because they do not understand why humans fight. The message spreads, igniting renewed resistance. John gathers his closest commanders and explains what little time allows. The device Skynet is building will not end the war today. It will try to erase it yesterday. The room is silent as the implication settles in. This is no longer just about survival. It is about protecting the past so the future can exist at all. The resistance launches one last coordinated strike. This time there is no illusion of total victory. The goal is simple. Delay Skynet. Damage the facility. Buy time for fate to hold its shape. Human fighters pour into the ruins where the energy readings spike, knowing many of them will not return. No speeches are made. Everyone understands. Kyle Reese fights alongside seasoned soldiers now, no longer just a scavenger. He moves with confidence, instinct sharpened by loss and purpose. John watches him from a distance, seeing not just a fighter, but the man Kyle will become. The man who will one day travel back in time and change everything. The battle underground is chaos. Skynet throws everything it has left into defense. Machines pour from assembly lines faster than they can be destroyed. The air vibrates with weapons fire and collapsing steel. Humans push forward anyway, fueled by desperation and belief. At the core of the facility, the time displacement machine begins to power up. Blue light floods the chamber, distorting the air itself. Skynet does not need to win the battle. It only needs a moment. John Connor reaches the chamber too late to shut the system down completely, but soon enough to alter its outcome. Explosives detonate across the structure, destabilizing the energy flow. The machine screams as physics breaks down. A Terminator unit is pulled toward the vortex, its destination locked on the past. Skynet's final calculation executes. The target is Sarah Connor. The year is 1984. The explosion that follows destroys the facility from within. The resistance barely escapes as the ground collapses behind them. When the dust settles, Skynet's